Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that you came by. Today I have a plant haul for you. I went to Lowe's, Home Depot, and Trader Joe's, and I found some really good plants. I'm really excited about absolutely all of them because I have one rescue. The rest of them are not rescues, but they are plants. One in particular, the one I'm going to start off with, is one that I have been drooling over in the varieties videos. You know, you can watch the plants with all the different varieties of one particular genus, and this is one of the plants that I have always just drooled over because it is just such a beautiful plant. And I actually walked into Lowe's and I saw my plant sitting there, so I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about all of them. You know, I love my plants. So I have been in the house for 5 weeks because I have been recovering from pneumonia. And with pneumonia, getting cool air into your chest makes you really have a lot of problems breathing. And so even though you start to feel better, you can't really push it. You have to stay inside and listen to what your doctor's saying, or else you prolong your recovery by weeks at a time. And I just didn't want to do that. And so I was a very good listener, and I have been staying inside. It's been a total of 5 weeks that the only time I really left the house was to go to the doctor, when I went to the emergency room and when I went to see my personal doctor. And so I have not been out at all plant shopping. And so I was so excited to go out, and we had to run some errands. My husband and I had to run some errands. And so we went out, and of course, while I was out, I said, I need to stop and see the plants. And I got there and I was not sad about it. I was so happy. And I will say that this plant that I'm going to show you, the first one, I didn't get it at first because I couldn't pick it up. I was just winded. I was out for the first time walking around, and when I was looking at it, I was by myself. And so I didn't get it because I said, okay, we're going to another Lowe's anyway. I'll just get it there. My husband will be inside of that store with me and he'll be able to get it for me. That store didn't have it. They did not have it. I was devastated. And so I couldn't get it. I told my husband about it. And later on, he had to go back out. And when he went out, he went and he got me that plant. And when I tell you, I saw him walking up our driveway, holding that plant next to him, I said, oh, they're both so beautiful. I was so excited. And so I'm really happy to be able to share this with you. And they are all very everyday, simple plants. But I like the everyday and simple because that's me. I'm everyday and simple. And so I'm going to share with you my everyday simple collection, and I hope you enjoy this haul. Okay, I can't get too jumpy. This is a Dieffenbachi of Snow. This plant, look at her veining, look at her stems. This is such a beautiful plant. You cannot imagine how I felt when I walked into Lowe's and I saw this plant. I was absolutely amazed when I saw this plant. All I did was look past a sea of plants, and I saw this baby right on the corner. And it wasn't actually this one as much as I saw a grouping of these plants on the corner, and I was just so happy when I saw it. I didn't see that any of them were in this type of shape. Most of them looked like they had a lot of cosmetic damage, but he found one that was just so beautiful. Look at how pretty she is. She is in a really big pot, and originally I said I would take her out of this pot and put her into a smaller pot, because when I checked all of the other openings on the side, I didn't see any roots. But then I noticed over here that I was able to pull some down, and so obviously this is the right size pot for her. But so I will leave her in this pot, I guess. I'm going to change the peat because, I mean, I'm going to change this peat out. I think that'll be too much moisture for her because, of course, Dieffenbachia do not like to have their roots wet, and I don't want anything to happen to this plant. We're gonna go to the next plant now. I have to keep calm. The next plant that I purchased, and this is a Dieffenbachi of Snow. And yes, I do have one of these already, but this one was on the clearance section because it has cosmetic damage. But this seems to be a very fast growing plant, and so I just decided that originally I thought I would pot it up with my, see that leaf right there? It has a, I'm not going to take it off until it shows me that it has to come off, but and it does have a new baby growing in right there in the middle. There are 3 shoots on this plant. Well, there's this plant here that's altogether another plant. Then there's this shoot coming off of the main stalk, and you see how big the stalk is. But now, originally when I saw, where is it? When I saw this plant right here, I thought maybe this was just stuck in the pot, because this right here looks more like a tiki than a snow. But then when I looked over here at this new, at this new leaf coming in, that one looks the same. So I guess that's just the way they look when they're young, or if they have immature leaves, they look more like tiki. But either way, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Look at that leaf right there, and then look at this leaf. To me, they look like 2 different plants, almost as if this one was just popped in there. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sad about it either way, but it is just, this is a beautiful plant, and I really do love the Dieffenbachi leaves that get nice and big. And so I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to repot this. I'm going to repot both of them, and I'm really, really excited about it. Look at that one. This is a cuprea, an alocasia cuprea. And you know, if you're familiar with my channel, I've had one of these before. I bought it in hopes that I could revive it. It was a clearance plant, but this one, it did not survive. The corms inside, everything was already rotted out because it was overwatered. But this one right here, oh, this plant is so good. This is a leaf that is opening. I purchased this, it was 2 days ago, 3 days ago maybe. I'm not really, I think it was 3 days ago. But this leaf right here is just opening now. It's still on its way to opening. And then it already had this leaf on it. And you can see that that has damage. Now, this was my thinking when I was purchasing this plant. The last one I bought, number one, it had, I'm noticing that with these really big, strong alocasia leaves, it tends to be a little bit more difficult to get them acclimated to your home when they have a lot of leaves on them. So they had so many of these in there, but it was number one in the doorway, and I didn't want leaves that had already been cold damaged, which is what I think this is. So what I did, this one was not opened, and then there was this leaf, and then it had this little tiny leaf, and then there was another little tiny leaf that I cut off because it was spent already. When I purchased it, I said, this plant, I kept going back to this plant. There were maybe 5 of them there. I went through all of them. Some of them had so many leaves. But again, I didn't want anything that I would have to acclimate to my home that already had an issue, especially because it was in a windy area. And I didn't want to have to acclimate all of those leaves to my space. And so I kept going back to this one plant. This was all sealed up like a cocoon. And when I got it home, and I've started keeping all of my alocasia in no drainage clear vessels. I got it home, I took it apart, pulled out all the corms, and I planted them into some moss. And the base of this plant has so many shoots coming out. I was so happy I chose this plant because the shoots coming out of the base, it was amazing. I said, oh, I knew this plant looked a little bit different than the others. And maybe the others had it too. But I was so happy that I took a chance and I chose this one because, there were just so many shoots coming out of the base. And then I believe there were 4 corms in the soil. And so I just took them, put them into some moss, and hopefully those will produce as well. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. This is a beautiful plant. I can't wait for her leaf to completely open. Look how glossy the leaf is. Oh, I just love it. I love this plant. I really wanted a cupria. After I had the other one and it didn't make it, I was just hooked. I wanted a cupria so badly, but I didn't want to have to go through the loss of it again. And so I went with the plant that would not necessarily come in looking perfectly as much as it's going to go into looking perfectly. And that one was from, that cupria was from the Home Depot. That was not from Lowe's. The last two were from Lowe's, but that cupria was not. It was from Home Depot. And this one right here was from Trader Joe's. Look at her. This is my very first rubber tree plant. I've never had one of these before. And I'm not very familiar with her care as much as I'm really excited about seeing her grow. I thought it would be the best thing for me to get something that was kind of small, so I wouldn't have to go into like taking care of really big leaves or anything like that. Because I know these can be a little bit funny, especially if you're just not familiar with them. And so I was really happy. And this plant was such a great deal. It was only $10. I still can't believe I got this plant for $10. And it is in this cute little bag, and the bag has lining on the inside. It's so cute. I really like this boho look. So if you have any care tips for this plant, oof, look how pretty it looks from up top. Look how gorgeous that looks. I welcome any help you can give me with this one because I really, really want her to survive. I know she needs a lot of indirect light, and I have bright light in my home, so I think that should be good. I definitely feel like I'm going to put her outside for the springtime. Oh, she's so pretty. I cannot believe I have this plant. Look at this beautiful leaf right here. They're all beautiful. Even the little teeny tiny ones are beautiful. They're so pretty. I can't believe I have a burgundy. And this little bag, look at the little cutie bag. What I really like about the bag is it's the color of the clay pots that I have, and so it would just sit in nicely with my clay pots. I love her. And this one's a heart. Look at that. That one's a heart. It almost looks like a Hoya carrii. Isn't that cute? This is one for me. And there was only one of these when I went there. It was just sitting there waiting for me. I went to get some of my creamer, and this was just sitting there. Last plant is a big one. And I'm really excited about her, and I'm trying to stay down. I'm just trying to stay calm. But this is a plant I have been dreaming about walking into a store and finding, and it's a very basic plant, but I love this particular plant. Do you see how big this plant is? Okay, I'm gonna give you the full scope of it, okay? I love spider plants so much. I love them. I purchased a big spider plant. She wasn't as big as this one, but it was the biggest one that I had seen. I bought it in one of the local nurseries, and when I tell you I was babying that plant, I had two. I had one really big spider plant that was the reverse variegation like this one. No, that's not true. It was the inner variegation. And then I had another one that was a Bonnie, and they were both really big, lots of babies on them. I love those plants so much. I would collect rainwater for them, and if I didn't have rainwater, I would buy distilled water for them. I would soak all of the babies. I would put them into a tub of water so that the babies would get, it was so healthy, so beautiful. But I never removed the peat moss from their soil, and so they started to decline, and I said, I know that I'm giving this baby the perfect amount, like, you know, the perfect water, because I wasn't using tap water. I was collecting rainwater, buying water to water these plants, and I wasn't overwatering them as much as it seemed as if they were never hydrated. Come to find out that the peat moss had solidified around the roots and it was choking out the roots. And that's why normally I don't leave my plants in peat moss. I think that for the growers it is the perfect thing, but for inside the house it just doesn't work out that way for me. And so this one right here does not seem to be in peat moss. This one is in soil. And so I'm really happy about that. But I was so heartbroken when I lost my last two plants because they were big, they were beautiful, and I cared for them like literally my literal babies. I was just doing everything for them. They had the prime spots in the house. They were just so beautiful. I had shared them with so many people because they were constantly putting out pups, and I still lost. Well, I did not lose them. I shouldn't say that, because I have the pups and I still have the base of the plants. By the time I figured out what was going on, they had already declined so much that I had to chop them up a lot, but they are still with me, but they're really, really small. I'll try to include, I know I at least have a picture of my Bonnie. I'm not sure if I have a picture of my intervariegated spider plant, but if I do, I will definitely show you a picture of it, and you'll see why I was just like so excited to find this baby. I love spider plants. I think they are a plant like pothos where they give you that jungle feel, but then they are just simple and easy to care for as long as you do the right things anyway. Okay, she's beautiful. Now this is my challenge with her. She has lots of roots coming out of the bottom, and these roots are absolutely beautiful. When I got her home, she was completely dry, and so I let her sit in the shower for a little while, let her soak up some moisture, and then I let her sit in the steam. And so the roots are very, very pliable. They're movable. They're not, you know, stuck or anything like that. But obviously I have to repot her. What I'm trying to figure out is if I should keep her in one pot, or if I should break her into two. I mean, she's really jammed into this pot. This is what my thing is. I think I may end up going up one pot size, and it is a pretty big plant pot. This is a heavy plant, and that's the reason why I don't really want to go up in size as far as plants, because that just means it's going to be more heavy, and where I can put it is limited once it gets too heavy. Like right now, I know I need to put this down because it's just like it's sapping all of my energy to hold this, but this is a really heavy plant. It is freshly watered. I watered it yesterday, so I know that has a lot to do with it, but in time they have to be watered. So I'm thinking that maybe I should repot it and separate it, although I really love the way it looks. So you tell me, please tell me what you think, if I should repot it right away and separate it, or if I should just allow it to be the way it is and then separate it at the end of the season. I mean, this is a lot of roots down here. So I will I'll have to wait until the weekend to repot it, because I'm going to have to enlist my husband's help to repot this, because I think just like with my my Monstera Addisonii that I have hanging, and I had to break it into two pots, my husband he definitely had to do that for me. But okay, she is so beautiful. Now I I've never been into these planters before, but I kind of sort of want a planter that is the bust that goes all the way down to the shoulders, where you have this beautiful spider plant hanging off of something like that. I think that would be absolutely gorgeous. And originally I wanted to keep it in this room, but right now I think I'm going to end up putting it in my dining room, in my north facing window, because then I know it would not be getting scorched, and I will be feeding her rainwater. So, and we have lots of rain happening right now. Well, it's snow right now, but we have lots of rain happening, so I am going to collect water for her. Her original showering was with tap water, but I'm definitely going to rainwater for her. Can't believe I found this. So that is my completed haul. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited about these plant babies. The Dieffenbachi that I purchased, the Sterling, is a new variety for me, but I think that I'll be okay with taking care of her. I try not to buy too many different varieties that are going to give me a challenge, because then I have to figure out how to take care of too many different types of plants at one time, and so I feel as if I'm not really going to be able to do the best for them. But the Cuprea, I think I have her down. Right now she's really liking my bedroom atmosphere in front of the west-facing window, so I'm just going to keep her exactly there. And then my Dieffenbachi of Sterling, I do have to repot her, and she's loaded with peat, and so is the other one. But the Snow, she's loaded with peat as well. I'm definitely removing that. I bought some more of the soil parts that I use to create my own aeroid soil, and I know that it will keep it so that I can water it regularly and not have them sitting in anything wet. So I will still keep the peat, because I think it was Michael from The Planted Eye, he was talking about the fact that I believe it was peat moss that he was saying can be a little bit expensive, and so I always reuse whatever I possibly can. This is just so much peat moss in these containers. I will be able to just clean it with some really hot water, let it steam for a little while, make sure there's no families living in it. And then I will be able to just keep it and use it with my aeroid mixes. I don't want to have to water them too often, so I will mix it up, but I do like to mix it up with my chunky mix and then put the peat moss in with it. I just don't want the peat moss to be able to turn into a brick or anything like that, because like I said, in my experience, that is what happens with the peat moss. Once you keep watering, all of a sudden your plant's just not getting moisture at all, and then you look in the center of the brick of peat moss, it's just all around the roots, and the root ball is completely dry, and it's just the surface of the plant that's getting wet. So I don't want that to happen again, especially not with the plants that I learned that lesson with. So thank you again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give me a big thumbs up, and if you have subscribed to my channel, I say thank you to you. I truly appreciate you, and I also appreciate you if you just stop by just to come and listen and maybe share a little hello down in the comments below. I do appreciate you as well. I will talk to you guys again in another video. Have a wonderful evening, and stay safe in the snow if you have it.